All right, guys, today we're talking about the next tools after the big four. The first one we're going to start with here is the circle tool. Now, the circle tool has a lot of the same features that the other tools had in the big four. You got your positions, interval, clone, and a couple different ways to clone things, and a couple different ways to run your interval here with the multiple interval tool. And then again, the horizontal vertical fixed spacing tool. So the circle tool is fairly simple. You always click where you want the center of the circle. So if you wanted the center of the circle to be on the 45, you do that. And then you would go ahead and click out the width. So if you wanted to go out 8 steps, it's going to make a perfect circle from the center. And the more you move it, the larger that circle gets. And then, of course, you can change things as you go. So you have your interval. If you wanted to change it to a 3-step, just got to be careful when working with the circle tool that this gap right here between the first person and the next person is something that looks good. So I suggest just go with putting in the amount of positions in it. And a lot of times it does a little bit better job of making that last gap space just a little bit better. It may end up being close to what you were looking for, if you were looking for a 3-step, but the space all around would be best. There's a little thing here as well that says first place at the top of the circle. So no matter what you do, somebody will always, the first person will always be at the top of the circle. That's for, just helping for when you're picking the pathways of the, people that are going into the circle. If you're in the middle of a drill, you can always make sure that the first person is here, and that'll help you to create your pathways correctly. Offset spacing just kind of takes it and puts the guy who's at the top and at the bottom, that type of thing, just moves them over so that now that space is at the bottom, that sort of thing. So you can play with that how you like it. One other feature in here that's super duper important is the lock to circle function. If you're looking to make an oval, you unclick that, and then you can make an oval. It's kind of the same process. You choose the center, you choose how wide you want it, whether you rotate it using the center or you use these guys to change the width, change the length, that sort of thing. You can rotate it and find where you want to have your starting point be when you're assigning who's going where for pathways. And it's a really useful tool for making ovals. So I use it quite a bit, to be honest with you. I'll use the oval in my drill. If I use a circle, the circle drill and ovals, it's really an important tool to know how to use. So another function I'll show you about is the concentric circles function. Again, I'm going to choose the center of the circle, expand it out, and then I'll change this to like 50 people. We'll clone it 3 times, and we'll choose the concentric circles function here. And there you go. Now, the only thing I don't necessarily like is that it takes you off center. So the top person isn't where they were, even when I click first place at the top of the circle. So you can fix that by accepting it and then just rotating it using this rotate tool and drop it right on the yard line. And then you'll have that nice cover down file. Most of the other tools we've covered in some of our other videos, the big 4 videos, with the different ways of cloning and the different ways of doing interval. But the ones I just showed you today are pretty much the main functions of the circle tool that I would use in context of writing a drill. Creating circles, using lock to circle or unlocking circle to make ovals. These tools to make sure that it's easy to pick your top person for pathways. And then, of course, these cloning tools, I think the most useful being the one for concentric circles. So I hope this was helpful. I hope you got a little bit out of how to use the circle tool today.
So I hope this was helpful to you. Please like and subscribe to my channel if you like these Pyware videos.